We talk endlessly about overthinkers. We have entire therapy movements built around people who cannot make decisions. We celebrate the spontaneous ones, the free spirits, the people who show up whenever they feel like it. The chronically late even have their own TED Talks now. But nobody talks about the other ones. Almost invisible, barely studied. There is this entire group of people who walk through life with an invisible clock running in their heads every single second of every single day. Always on time, without alarms, without reminders, without anyone asking them to be. They are your colleague who is already seated and reviewing notes when you scramble in 3 minutes late. The friend who texts exactly when they said they would text. The partner who has the bags by the door before you even remembered there was a trip. Their psychology is probably the most misunderstood of anyone alive today, because punctuality looks boring from the outside. But what is happening underneath is anything but simple. Picture this. It is 1989. You are 7 years old. Your dad said he would be at your school play at 6. 6 comes. 6:15. 6:30. You are peeking through the curtain the whole second act. He shows up during the final bow smelling like The Office and apologies. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in 2001 found that children who experienced repeated parental unreliability showed a 34% higher likelihood of developing hypervigilant time monitoring behaviors by adolescence. They learned that time was not neutral. Time was a threat. And when time becomes a threat, the brain starts treating it like one. Every clock becomes a warning. Every countdown becomes a test. Being on time stops being a preference. It becomes armor. Picture this. It is 1993. You are now 11. Your household runs on chaos. Dinner is never at the same time. Pickups are guesses. Promises have expiration dates nobody announces. So you start making your own structure. You set your own schedule. You become the reliable one because nobody else will. And now watch what happens when that kid grows up. They become the person who is never late. Not because they love clocks. Because somewhere very deep in their nervous system, being on time means nobody gets hurt. Least of all them. This is why they treat every appointment like a small contract. A meeting at 2 is not a meeting at 2-ish. It is a commitment they made to another human being, and breaking it without cause feels genuinely wrong to them. Not inconvenient. Wrong. Watch this play out at work. Everyone else rolls into the 9 o'clock stand-up between 9 and 9:10. They have been there since 8:57 with their notes open. They are not showing off. The idea of walking in while someone is already talking makes their chest tight. Research published in Developmental Psychology in 2009 found that adults raised in unpredictable home environments were significantly more likely to use timekeeping as a self-regulation strategy. It is not discipline. It is a nervous system doing what nervous systems do, finding control where none existed before. Being late feels to them like breaking a promise. And they cannot do that. They genuinely cannot. That background also explains why they are physically early everywhere. Not on time. Early. Because being on time means arriving with zero buffer. And zero buffer means one red light could make you the person who let someone down. They refuse to be that person. You have seen this. They arrive at the restaurant 12 minutes before the reservation. They are the ones already seated and reading the menu when you walk in right on time and somehow still feel slightly guilty. That is their superpower and their curse operating simultaneously. A 2014 study in the Journal of Adult Development found that chronically punctual individuals reported significantly higher baseline anxiety around uncertainty than average. The early arrival is not eagerness. It is a buffer zone they built to protect against the panic of the unpredictable. They are not excited to be there first. They are relieved. There is a difference. Here is something fascinating though. The same person who arrives 12 minutes early to everything will absolutely lose their mind when someone else is late. Not dramatically, quietly. They will sit there completely composed while something internal recalibrates in real time. They smile. They say it is fine. It is not entirely fine. This is because lateness from others triggers something old in them. It is not about the 20 minutes. It is about every time a door was supposed to open and did not. Every curtain peeked through. Every dinner that went cold. They are not angry at you. They are briefly 7 years old again. A paper in the American Journal of Orthopsychiatry from 2016 noted that time-related anxiety in adults often functions as a somatic memory of early relational disappointment. The body keeps the score, and the score includes every late pickup and missed promise from childhood. They have never once told anyone this. Not out loud. This is why they are devastating planners. They do not just plan. They pre-plan the plan. They know which route has the roadwork. They checked the parking situation 2 days ago. They have a backup plan for the backup plan. Other people call this overthinking. They call it Tuesday. Watch them prepare for a flight. They are at the airport 2 hours before domestic, 2.5 for international. They know which security lane moves fastest at that terminal on that day of the week. They have eaten already because food courts are a time variable they refuse to introduce. Research from the American Journal of Psychology in 2018 found that highly punctual individuals scored measurably higher on what researchers called anticipatory cognition, meaning they mentally simulate future scenarios in far more detail than average. Their brain runs the movie before the movie starts. They are not controlling. They are just living 3 steps ahead at all times, which is exhausting, but also incredibly effective. This trait also means they do not really understand people who are habitually late. Not morally, just literally. Their brain cannot model the experience of not knowing where your keys are with 2 minutes to go. It does not compute. They have known where their keys are since yesterday evening. The chronically late person says they lost track of time. The punctual one hears that and quietly processes it the way a marine biologist processes someone saying they forgot they were underwater. Time is not something they lose track of. Time is the medium they exist inside of constantly. A 2020 study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that punctual individuals experience time as more scarce and more meaningful than their less punctual counterparts. Every minute has a weight to them. Wasting yours feels almost like theft. As parents, they raise children who know what to expect. Dinner is at the same time. Pickup is always 5 minutes early. Bedtime is not negotiable. Some kids push against this, but most of them, years later, realize that certainty felt like love. Because it was. What they gave the next generation was something that sounds ordinary and is actually rare. Predictability. The radical and undervalued gift of someone who shows up exactly when they said they would every single time, without exception, without excuse. What they struggle with today is the part they cannot say out loud. Flexibility, spontaneity, saying yes to something that starts in 45 minutes. The idea of winging it produces a low-grade dread that does not match the situation, but is connected to something much older than the situation. What makes them quietly remarkable is this. In a world that celebrates the free spirit and laughs at the person who shows up early, these people carry reliability as a core value without anyone ever asking them to. Nobody gave them a trophy for it. They just kept showing up, exactly when they said they would. They are the lighthouse, not the firecracker, not the fireworks show everyone photographs. The lighthouse, steady, predictable, exactly where it said it would be. And lighthouses do not get much attention. Ships just arrive safely and move on. Nobody writes a song about the lighthouse. Nobody makes a documentary about the clock that has never once been wrong. But everything runs on time because of them. Quietly, without applause, right on schedule. If this hit home for you, or if you recognize someone you love in this description, I want you to know that punctuality is not a personality quirk. It is a whole psychology. And now you know where it came from. Please subscribe, and if you want to support these deep dives, hit that join button to become a channel member. New psychology breakdowns every week. Right on time.